Remember when comedies used to just be some funny people being funny? While streaming services still get their fair share of comedies, it's rare nowadays that we share the communal experience of going to a theater to laugh over goofy antics and silly lines. The biggest comedies in theaters these days are films that are also comedies, like Deadpool and Wolverine is a superhero film that is also a comedy, The Fall Guy is an action film that's also a comedy, etc. It starts to feel like being funny isn't enough for movies to get a theatrical release nowadays. But that's what makes One of Them Days so refreshing. It feels like a comedy from back in the day when being funny was enough. Back when a comedy could just be Harry and Lloyd going on a road trip in Dumb and Dumber, Craig and Smokey hanging out on their porch in Friday, or Harold and Kumar trying to go to White Castle/escape from Guantanamo Bay/enjoy Christmas. And while One of Them Days doesn't quite hit the heights of those comedy classics, it is a welcome reminder of an era of comedy that we certainly need more of these days. Keke Palmer stars as Drew, an excellent waitress at a Norm's diner with aspirations of becoming a corporate manager at her own Norm's. Her roommate, Alyssa, SZA, is an unemployed artist who always believes things will work themselves out. Also living with the pair is Alyssa's no-good boyfriend Keyshawn, Joshua David Neal, who causes this duo plenty of trouble when he takes Drew and Alyssa's rent money to start his own t-shirt brand, known as Coochie. Drew and Alyssa's landlord Uche, Reezy Tamain, says if they don't pay the rent in their falling-apart apartment by the end of the day, their stuff is going to be out on the street, especially since Uche is trying to bring in new white tenants, like the friendly Bethany, Maud Apatow. To make matters worse, Drew has her interview to become a corporate manager, all while they try to find enough money to keep a roof over their head. In the course of one day, Drew and Alyssa will give blood, experience the nightmare of payday loans, and run away from terrifying gangsters to make their dreams come true and not end up homeless. Like those throwback comedies, One of Them Days is elevated by its 2 stars, and Keke Palmer and SZA have great chemistry together. Palmer has been great in films like Hustlers and Nope, but here, she gets to show off her comedic chops, and she truly delivers. Simply watching her reactions in their plight is enough to elicit laughs throughout. From the minute we're introduced to her, charming every single table at the diner she works at, we're immediately on her side, and it's hard not to root for her.
I'm sorry, I had to get a jump from Shamika, and they had a checkpoint at La Brea, I had to go all the way around.
Alright folks. Listen up. If you are enjoying the content of this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give the video a good old-fashioned thumbs up. Let's show the creators some love. In her first major film role, SZA also holds her own as Alyssa, a great foil to Drew, and unintentionally causes problems along the way. SZA matches Palmer's energy nicely. While we might wonder why Drew might hang around with someone for so long that causes so many problems, Alyssa's optimism and ability to raise her friend up makes it clear both of them need the other to get by. It's a match that isn't without its problems, for sure, but together, we know everything will be okay. Even when not much is going on in One of Them Days, this combo will put a smile on your face. One of Them Days often can feel like it's hopping from one cameo to the next, but by utilizing the perfect actors to fill these roles and have fun doing it, it's by no means a problem. Apatow is charming as Bethany, who doesn't seem to understand why it's strange to everyone else that she's moving into an entirely black apartment complex. Patrick Cage is wonderful as Drew's love interest maniac, who might be just her type or he might be an actual maniac. Janelle James, Curb Your Enthusiasm's Kayla Monterroso Mejia, and Lil Rel Howery also make the most of their short time on screen, but it's Cat Williams as Lucky who is the real scene stealer, always begging these 2 women to heed his warnings, like to avoid loans and not to steal Jordans thrown over electrical wires. First-time director Lawrence Lamont makes this film pop with vibrant colors even in the seediest parts of this endeavor. From their crumbling apartment in the jungles to the drive-through of a church's chicken, One of them days manages to look quite nice, even in the least aesthetically pleasing places. Lamont also does a solid job of keeping this story moving forward, complete with a ticking clock and ensuring we get out of each scene before we start to feel its length. This movie moves at a clip and looks good while doing it. Also well handled is the script by Sarita Singleton, who has previously written on shows like Insecure and Rap SHT. Not only are these scenarios often hilarious, but Singleton is also injecting slight commentary throughout about people who want to break the cycle of going paycheck to paycheck. For example, when one of their attempts at money goes awry, they jump out of an ambulance so they don't have to pay the bill. Don't worry, they managed to get their information beforehand. Their first few plans of getting quick money, selling blood and getting a payday loan, certainly go to extremes, but work because they're based on the sad reality of how this is an easy and tragic way to get money for those struggling. Singleton's script also hits on topics of gentrification, unfair landlord practices, and struggling to make ends meet, yet still manages to keep the comedy at the forefront. Pros. The chemistry between Keke Palmer and SZA is electric and always fun. Lawrence Lamont and Sarita Singleton elevate this into more than just a standard comedy. This ensemble is packed with brilliantly placed cameos and great casting choices. Cons. The humor and the larger topics that are only touched on could hit a bit harder.
A white person in a jungle?
I am right here if you guys ever want to have a girls' night. A little Prosecco and pals.
Child, I saw one with a cat in a stroller.